morning, everybody. Good morning to everybody. My papers in my briefcase, we got folded up somehow. Just trying to straighten them out. Well, how lovely are the dwellings. Nice day out today. Started out a little cold. I went out this morning. It seemed colder, but as the day goes on, it got warmer. Beautiful sunny day. I had to wear my sunglasses today. That snow glare. The last few days I've been filling in for the guy I work for, dispatcher. And he doesn't like to be called a dispatcher. He likes to be called a load planner. So I've been filling in as a load planner. And I call it a glorified babysitter. That's what I call it. So we have about 30 trucks a day that I have to dispatch. And then they have anywhere from 1 to 7 stops on them. What I do, we're dedicated to a meat packing plant that kills about 2,000 cows a day. They make about 3 to 5 million pounds of ground beef a week. So that's a lot of ground beef. And if you're buying your hamburger from Wegmans or PNC or ShopRite or any of these big chains, you're eating our hamburger. So, this is all perishable meat, okay? Especially ground beef. It's all time sensitive. It's got a shelf life that doesn't last too long. So it's all time sensitive. And so it's a timing thing. Yesterday when I got it, Thursday or yesterday, I can't remember, these days kind of blend together. But I got a phone call. You try to make appointments, you try to get things on time. And one guy called me, he went off the road in the snow. He was up on 88 above Albany somewhere. And he said he had 2 tow trucks trying to pull him out. So that started the day. Another guy called and he was overslept. Another guy called and he was running late. He got stuck in snow. Another guy had an accident. So these are the things you got to deal with. And like I said, I'm trying to time things. I got to make phone calls because he's going to be late. Then another guy called me. He said he's got 2 cop cars following him. For the last mile and a half with his lights on. I'm thinking, what? He says, what do you think I should do? So I said, well, I think you should pull over. He said, well, if I pull over, you're going to need somebody to come up here and get me and come take the truck back. So I'm ready to strangle this guy. He says, well, I'm only pulling your chain. So I thought, oh boy, that's all I needed, so. But, that's the way the day goes sometimes. Things hold trucks up. We have late trucks, bad weather, stuck trucks, slow things down. That's what I like to talk about is time. I had a different subject that I was going to talk about. But so when I got home last night, I thought, time. That's all I've been thinking about is time for the last 2 days, 3 days. Our lives revolve around time. We have sleep time, there's feast time, play time, Sabbath time. There's work time. The grandkids will help me with this a little bit. School time, waste time, show time, drive time. Time flies. Time is on our side. And there's a whole list. You can go on for an hour with that. I had a good time this week spending time with the grandkids. The grandkids are all been here for this week, and I'm getting a thumbs up back here. All right. So we had a good time, and it's like 40 years ago. I was telling somebody this, that when I come home now, and I got to help entertain the kids, because Judy's had them all day and she's tired, so I try to help out. But I've really had a nice time with them. Even my dog can tell time. I've got a border collie, as you know, some of you know, and at 5:23 every day, I can look at that clock. He wakes us up at 5:23 every day. He's got an in clock, with his, what do they call that? No, well, it's in his brain anyway. So, but he'll wake us up at 5:23 because he knows he's a working dog and he wants to go to work. So 5:23 every morning. With time, until recently, scientists believe time was eternal and absolute. Everything around is governed by time, from the mighty stars to the tiniest cell. In fact, Isaac Newton, the famous discoverer of gravity, believed time was eternal. Einstein's theory of relativity and the section of cosmic background radiation, among other findings, indicated time actually had a beginning and was woven into the very fabric of space. I'd like to say hi to Dave and Natasha. I just realized they were online, so say hello to them. Actually, time as we know it, religious books, except for the Bible, describe time as being eternal. Only the Bible boldly claims that there was a moment in time as we know it did not exist. God has a plan for us all before the beginning of time. We can read that. If you turn to 2 Timothy 1:9, 2 Timothy 1:9 talks about that. 2 Timothy 1:9. Okay, verse 9. Who has saved us and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to our own purpose and grace, which was given in Christ Jesus before the world began. Also, just a few pages over, in Titus 1, verse 2, in hope of eternal life, which God, that cannot lie, promised before the world began. God had a plan before time began. Actually, time as we know it is a very recent phenomenon. Through the persistence of Charles Dodd, a school teacher, and William Allen, a railroad engineer, time was finally standardized in the United States on November 10th, 1883. It was only after American railroads accepted Dodd and Allen's idea of 4 time zones across the U.S. that trains could schedule their arrivals and departure with any degree of consistency. Before that, every community had their own time, and what time it was on their own. It took another year for a meeting of 26 nations to determine the 24-hour worldwide time zones that we use today. Nor have we always had a 7-day in our week. Back in 1792, the French tried a 10-day week with 10 hours in a day and 100 minutes in an hour and 100 seconds in a minute. But it didn't work. Undaunted, the Russians tried a 5-day work week in 1929 and even named the days of the week after colors. But nobody paid any attention, so they switched to a 6-day week in 1932. And finally, they abandoned the whole idea and returned to the standard 7-day week. I wonder which day of the week they cut out. I think I can figure that out. Although the way we decide time hasn't been around all that long, God has been working with time since the beginning of creation. God is the originator of time. The first mention is in Genesis 1:5. You don't have to turn there. And I'll just read that to you. So the evening and the morning were the first day. But the great time chapter of the Bible is in Ecclesiastes chapter 3. I'll get to that in a little bit. In this chapter, the word occurs on 28 occasions in 14 pair of polar opposites, divided into 7 groups. 7, the number of completion, suggests that the contrasting pairs cover almost every conceivable experience of man, beginning with the birth and ending with death. It's all quite material and ordained by God. The word translated time means a point in time. With any given season in time implies duration and a point in time. Because everything has a season, nothing on this earth lasts forever. God has appointed a season for everything. Seasons have beginnings and endings. They last, but not too long. In a cycle, there is a season of gestation, a season of childhood and youth, a season for middle ages, a season for old age, and a season for death. You got me thinking about the gestation period. I know we've had a bunch of lambs this week, and it was pretty neat. My granddaughter was out there, and one of the sheep were having trouble having their lamb, so we went out and helped her. You know, it's a little breech, I guess. They usually come out like this, but one leg was folded under, so we had to help her a little bit. So she thought that was pretty cool, and it's good to see that. But it still amazes me, you know. It's such a miracle, you know, how that whole thing works. And it never, you know, I've seen a lot of it, but it never ceases to amaze me. It's all quite natural and ordained by God. This is what Solomon is talking about. Every activity of mankind has a proper determined duration. Our lives would be a lot less stressful if we recognize that the great hand of God has appointed a time when things are to be done. And He has a predetermined duration for those things to last. So if we turn now to Ecclesiastes 3, we'll start in verse 1. Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season, and to every time a purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up, and which is plant. A time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, and you know, as farmers do, they cast away stones like if they're cleaning out a field. They cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together, build a foundation, or build a fence. A time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get, and a time to lose. A time to keep, and a time to cast away. A time to rend, and a time to sow. Which is interesting, you know, to rend and to sow. You don't have to turn here, but, well, we can turn here. Job 2:12. Job 2:12. Job's back there somewhere. Job 2:12. Job 12:2. Excuse me. Job 12. I didn't write that down. I'm just going by memory. Job 12:2. Well, that's not it either. My memory has not served me right. Anyway, they were talking about when Job's friend came to mourn with him. They rent their clothes and they threw dust on her head. But that's what it's talking about here in Ecclesiastes. Time to rent your clothes, and to rent, and a time to sow. And when mourning is over, and you should get on with your life, it's a time to sow those rent clothes up. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. One more. What profit hath he that worketh in that wherein he laboreth? You know, why does Solomon say all these things about time? Especially in verse 11. This is the last verse there. He had made everything beautiful in his time. Although he has set up the world in their heart so that man could find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. You know, verse 11, God has made everything beautiful in his time. The word beautiful doesn't mean lovely or pretty. It means fitting, apparently, or proper. There's a fitting point in that God has determined something should happen. It will never be late, or we'll never be early. He knows the proper duration of that event. He never holds it over too long or cuts it off too short. So, brother, in conclusion, you know, just think about time. When you live and die in the knowledge of God's eternal plan, you live and die with this confidence. God makes all things beautiful in their time.